Welcome to Wisconsin in Focus. I'm Benjamin Yount, filling in for J.D. Davidson this week. We are now seeing how Milwaukee Public Schools' fiscal problems are becoming a problem for all schools in Wisconsin. We had a story over at the website earlier this week that talked about how rural schools or suburban schools or schools in outstate Wisconsin are now finding out that they are going to lose money because of the way that Milwaukee Public Schools handled their tax increase referendum and how Milwaukee Public Schools have mismanaged their money. State Rep Jerry O'Connor from the Fond du Lac area was out early and often this week saying that the way that Wisconsin pays for schools is based on equalized aid. And because Milwaukee Public Schools are taking more state aid, then his schools are going to lose. He said Fond du Lac schools are going to lose $777,000. North Fond du Lac schools will lose $83,000, and the Oakfield School District, not a very big district, is going to lose $45,000. He's not alone. Barb Dietrich from Oconomowoc in the very populous Wow counties said her schools are going to lose nearly $1 million on their own because of the way that MPS has changed the school funding formula. She said the Arrowhead School District, which is one of the biggest in the area, is going to lose $175,000. Heartland Lakeside Schools will lose $197,000. The Oconomowoc area schools are going to lose over $500,000. Some of these schools will be able to replace that with local money, but as all schools are dealing with financial woes, they're going to have to figure out how to replace the money that essentially these Republican lawmakers say Milwaukee Public Schools are taking from their students. One of the other stories we had that dealt with Milwaukee Public Schools and the fallout is from the head of School Choice Wisconsin. He said that Milwaukee Public Schools' woes show the continued failure to educate, to manage, to even avoid the basics of getting in your state reports on time. This, of course, is an opportunity, and School Choice Wisconsin President Nick Kelly was out with an op-ed this week that said this should be the opportunity not just to reform Milwaukee Public Schools, but to give students across the state of Wisconsin the opportunity to get a better school. He wrote in his op-ed that no response to the regrettable MPS debacle will be adequate if it does not include expanded educational choice for families. Every child deserves an exit pass, he wrote. Educational choice is the single policy with demonstrable results for decades of MPS reform efforts. Said scores of choice students have gone up while those of MPS students have declined. And it's striking. Kelly said the numbers are about a 4 or a 5% difference each time. Choice students are 4 or 5 points better on the reading, 4 or 5 points better on math, year after year after year after year. And he pointed out this. He said the comprehensive study of the Milwaukee Parental Choice Program shows that private choice students enter the program performing at significantly lower levels than the average MPS student. Nevertheless, for the last several years, choice students on average are outperforming Milwaukee Public Schools. He said the comparison includes choice students from low-income and working-class families with MPS, comparing students of all income levels. He said if you include those MPS selective admission schools, that skews the numbers. Kelly said the performance gap between choice and MPS students would be much larger if the comparison were simply between the students of similar demographic backgrounds. He ended his op-ed with the line, "It's time to remove family income eligibility limits so that all Milwaukee families can have the private school options that is demonstrably working for current eligible families for kids in the city." We've talked for weeks about the problems at Milwaukee Public Schools. Now the latest is that the state says the district may lose $50 million because of its late and incomplete fiscal reports. This comes as more people, more administrators at the district lose their job, and more families get more and more frustrated. This is a story that's not going to end anytime soon. There won't be an interim administrator, an interim superintendent at Milwaukee Public Schools till at least right before school starts in September. There's likely not going to be a permanent superintendent until school starts next year, the 2025 school year. So critics pointing out that this appears very much as a punt and no deliberate speed to fix any of the problems. Still, the school choice question is going to be difficult. Wisconsin lawmakers have gone home for the year. We won't know if it will be a Republican-dominated legislature or a mixed legislature till after the November election. And Governor Tony Evers is still the governor. He has signed a school funding increase for school choice, but he's been an opponent of almost every other expansion in the past, and so we will have to wait and see what the election brings and what this continuing slow-rolling nightmare of Milwaukee Public Schools brings for education reforms in the state. You can find this story and all others over at our website, thecentersquare.com. Thank you for taking the time and joining us on Wisconsin in Focus. As always, I'm Benjamin Yant.